Ladies, gentlemen, those in between, welcome back to another video. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. But before we get started, welcome back to the normal setup. I will be recording here for the next few videos, and then in a month's time, I'll be recording from Japan and Thailand. If you guys want to see vlogs of me traveling, let me know. I could do that. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in, but I guess I could do that if you wanted. But yeah, so before we get into it, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Like, the 90% of you are not subscribed. It helps the channel out. YouTuber bullshit, right? Anyways, the Memphis Grizzlies had sort of an interesting offseason where they didn't do a ton, really, but they did get healthy. At least, you know, assumedly, you would think that they would be healthier this year than they were last year, because last year they were dog shit because they did not have anyone healthy. Like, Ja Morant played, I think, 3 games. Jaren Jackson Jr. dealt with injuries on and off. Same with Marcus Smart. Their entire team was injured on and off the whole year. Desmond Bane as well. They don't have any injuries or suspensions coming into it, so they should, at least in theory, be healthier. So you look at their roster, and I think people have kind of forgotten how good Ja Morant was. He finished 7th in MVP voting before he finished 12th the last year he was fully healthy. He's been pretty insane, relatively speaking, and was insane in the 9 games he played last season. In 21-22, he averaged 27.4 points, 6.7 assists, 5.7 rebounds on 49-34 splits. Next year, he averaged 26, 8 and 6, or 26, 6 and 8 on 46-30 splits. And last year, in the 9 games, he averaged 25, 6 and 8 on 47-28 splits. So not much of a shooter, but they have surrounded him with guys who can shoot, and that is the basis for this team, is the drive and kick stuff with Ja, and they got someone who can be his Marcin Gortat to his John Wall, right? Because John Wall was this really good playmaker who was super fast and everything, and Marcin Gortat was not particularly good, but John Wall made him look like a pretty okay center. Same thing I think will happen with Zach Edey. I don't think Zach Edey is particularly good at the game of basketball, but I think in the context of the Memphis Grizzlies, he will work pretty well. I think he will probably average a double-double and be in the Rookie of the Year discussions for this season, and a lot of that hinges on him being 7'5", I think, 7'4", 7'3", something like that, 300 pounds, and being able to set really hard screens. He's a good screen setter, and that's all Ja really needs to get downhill. And then from there, he just needs to roll to the basket and get, dump off passes and then dunk it, all that good stuff. They have a pretty easy formula for success, and I think they will be solid this year. They have very good defenders at all positions. They have a lot of lineups that they can go to for versatility. If they need more scoring, they can bring in G.G. Jackson. If they need more defense, they can bring in Vince Williams. If they need more playmaking, Vince Williams is also a decent playmaker. They have a lot of options there for guys who will be all right. And good. Like, a lot of these guys are good. Some of them are just okay. But sometimes you just need okay role players, and that'll be fine. And I think they're probably a playoff team. Though I do think that some people can overstate how good I think they're going to be, because I've seen some people be talking about they think that they'll be the 1 seed. I don't think is entirely realistic. I think there are 3 teams that might get the 1 seed. I think it's the Thunder are the obvious favorite. I think the Nuggets are still there, and I think the Timberwolves are still there. I think those 3 teams are all great regular season teams, and will have enough wins to potentially be the 1 seed in the West. The Grizzlies, I don't think will. They, at their best in 21-22, they won 56 games, and that was in a way weaker Western Conference than it is now. If you think about back then, that was the year that the Warriors won, and that was a very, not weak West, but it was far weaker than it is now, where you have the Thunder with Alex Caruso, with like all these offseason additions. They got Isaiah Hartenstein. That was the other one. They have very good perimeter defense, and they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a top 5 player. Then you go to Denver. They have Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray is not on a torn ACL. And Michael Porter Jr. is healthy, and Aaron Gordon is there. And, like, they have a very, very good top 4. Then you go to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves were not good when the Grizzlies were good last. Same with, you can go down the roster or down the standings. A completely different Western Conference, and I don't think that expecting them to win the games necessary for the 1 seed is realistic, especially considering that while they will be healthier than last season, they're not exactly the healthiest team on paper. Like, if you look at Ja Morant, over his career, he's never played more than 67 games, be it that was in a COVID-shortened year. 63 games was in, I believe, a COVID-shortened year as well, but in 21-22, he played 57 games. Then he played 61 games in 22-23, and last season he only played 9 games, be it a decent amount of those games missed was due to a suspension. But that's still, like, you have to take that into account, that he got injured and missed the entire season. He is not a super reliable player health-wise. Then you look at Jaren Jackson. He's only played above 70 games once in his career. He played 58 games in his rookie season, 57 in 19-20, 11 in 2021, 78 in 21-22, but then the last 2 seasons he's played 63 games and 66 games respectfully. So he's also not a guarantee to play, 70 games or whatever it is. And while missing 12 games, 15 games might not sound like that big of a deal, in the West, when the 1 seed was separated, I think the 1 and 3 seed were separated by 2 games, a game. It was decided on the last day of the season. And there were plenty of, if Jamal Murray had played 2 more games, maybe the Nuggets make it. If Shai had missed 3 more games, maybe the Thunder don't make it. If, Anthony Edwards or Karl Anthony Towns hadn't missed all that time, maybe the Timberwolves are the 1 seed. So there are all these, health concerns, and that matters a lot when you're in the West, especially this West, where, like I've said a million times, it's just better. And I think that while this team will be a fun team, while this team will be a good team, they won't be the home run that a lot of people are thinking. You look at their roster, and, Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, those are 2 really good guards. Desmond Bane, really good guard. But then after that, there's not a ton there. Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson, Brandon Clark, they're good. Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson, they're good. Zach Edey remains to be seen, but I feel like he'll be fine in their scheme. That's like a solid 8-9 good players, right? But you have to think about how many of those get injured and how it'll all fit together now that, they're playing together for the first time in a while. Ja Morant has not played a ton with Marcus Smart, so they'll have to gel a little bit. He, there are just things where you have to get used to playing with guys that you weren't playing with before, and I feel like this might be one of those situations. So thank you guys for watching. That's been this video. If you guys liked it, remember, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, I want to do a hot takes video, so if you guys made it to the end, leave a hot take in the comments, and maybe I'll get to it in the next video. So yeah, see ya.